Ella moved into her grandmother's old house on the outskirts of town, a creaky Victorian relic with peeling wallpaper and an air of forgotten time. She loved the quiet, despite the stories she'd heard growing up. The whispers about strange happenings and the peculiar mirror in the upstairs hall. The mirror was massive, framed in tarnished silver with intricate carvings of twisted vines and faceless figures. It hung on the wall at the end of the dim hallway, casting distorted reflections that made Ella uneasy. But she dismissed her discomfort as her imagination playing tricks. One night, as a storm raged outside, Ella heard faint creaks coming from the hallway. Thinking it was just the house settling, she continued reading in bed. But then came a low whisper, soft and chilling, like a breath against her ear. Ella, her heart froze. She sat up and listened, but the whisper didn't come again. Shaking it off, she decided to check the house. Armed with a flashlight, she wandered the dark halls, her footsteps muffled by old rugs. When she reached the mirror, she stopped. Something was off. The reflection in the mirror didn't match the hallway. Instead, it showed a darker, shadowy version of her surroundings. Her breath hitched as she saw a figure standing in the reflection, a tall, gaunt silhouette with hollow eyes staring back at her. Ella spun around. The hallway behind her was empty. Heart pounding, she turned back to the mirror. The figure was closer now, its bony hand reaching out as if pressing against the glass. She stumbled back, dropping the flashlight, which rolled across the floor and cast eerie beams of light across the walls. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Ella, help me." Terrified, she fled to her bedroom, locking the door behind her. But the whispers followed, growing more insistent. "Don't leave me," they begged. The sound seemed to come from inside her room now. She turned slowly, her eyes darting to the antique vanity mirror in the corner. The shadow was there, inside the vanity mirror, its hand pressed against the glass. This time, it wasn't alone. Faces surrounded it, their mouths twisted in silent screams, their hands clawing at the surface as if trying to escape. Ella grabbed a blanket and threw it over the mirror, her hands trembling. The whispers stopped. For a moment, the room was silent, save for her ragged breathing. But then, the sound of shattering glass echoed through the house. She turned back to the vanity. The blanket had fallen to the floor, and the mirror was cracked, jagged lines running through it like a web. The shadow was gone, except it wasn't. Behind her, Ella felt a cold breath on the back of her neck. The next morning, the neighbors found the house empty. The only sign of Ella was her reflection in the mirror at the end of the hallway, her face frozen in terror, staring out at a world she could no longer reach.